there's few people on earth that understand funnels better than this man, and there's few people on earth who know how to market and drive leads from a ton of different sources than him, and I have so much respect for him, and so he's agreed to give us a presentation about that right now. So is that exciting for you guys? You want to hear it? All right. Well, thank you. Let's put our hands together, and Todd's going to be up. Here we go, guys.
Cool. Thank you, man. Thank you, dude. Thank you so much, man. So yeah, I'm going to share with you guys how we drove something like 3,500 books for Russell. And I'm going to show you how we did it without having a massive list. You know, my company, this particular company, is about 24 months old, maybe 26 months old. And so I'm going to show you how we were able to do this, and more importantly, how you can use the same process, the same blueprint, the same approach to drive 100 or 200 ClickFunnels users. Really, what I'm gonna share with you is let me see if this is it. So yeah, and really the thing that I want you to keep in mind as I go through this, and I have to crank because they've given me like a window of time like this, and so the thing that I want you to really think about as I share this with you is that, yes, you can absolutely apply this blueprint to get 100 or 200 ClickFunnels users. You can also use this same approach that I'm going to share with you to promote your own product in a competitive marketplace. If there are lots of individuals that are promoting a similar product, or if you're an affiliate and there are lots of individuals that are promoting the exact same product, what it is that I'm going to share with you is extremely effective. Now, let me just say this, that what you're going to see is, yeah, you're going to see we worked our tail off. There's no doubt about it. You know, I got a couple of my guys on our team with me. We worked our tail off. And so, I would love to sit here and say that this was easy and simple and fast, but we worked our tail off. If you're willing to do the things that the average marketers aren't willing to do, you'll crush them. Right? If you're willing to do the things that they're not willing to do and go the distance, you will dominate. And so everything that you're going to see here doesn't require a sophisticated team or anything like that. In fact, it was kind of funny this morning, just to show you the lack of sophistication on our team. So first of all, two of my guys are here. Last night, they sent me a picture. They're sharing a room, and they sent me a picture of a fort that they built in their room. And then this morning, when we were on our way here, I said, "Hey, man, make sure that you take some pictures." And he goes, "Of you?" Yeah, of me. So no sophistication needed here. And so the first thing that I want to share with you guys is that we started promoting Russell's book before the book was available. So we actually started building kind of a waiting list, if you will, a seed list. And so we initially used this ad over here, and we drove to that page on the right. And so then what we did was, when this was early, this I think was about 4 to 6 weeks before the launch began. And I'm going to go through everything that we did, and then I'm going to give you guys the takeaways in the end, the application. And so we started promoting. And then what happened was Facebook flagged the ad. So Facebook didn't like the book, like in our ads for us. They flagged the ad. How many of you guys have been flagged on Facebook for an ad that, right? And it's becoming more and more prevalent, more and more difficult to get ads approved. And so I had to think of another strategy that we were going to use to promote this book. I knew that we were going up against people like Jeff Walker, a friend. I knew we were going up against GKIC, Dan Kennedy's crew, and a bunch of other big companies. And so I said, look, we're not going to be able to compete with them simply on the sheer size of our list, or their lists are just so much bigger than ours right now. And so we need to be able to leverage paid traffic. And so I immediately began to think about the other types of content, the other types of information that we could use, that we could advertise, that would be a great lead-in to Russell's book. In other words, I had to think about who is the market, who's the target audience for Russell's book, and what is alternative content, alternative information that I can deliver? What is alternative value that I could give the market that would excite them, that would put them in front of my content that I could then use to lead them into the book offer? And so that was really the genesis of the rest of our promotion. And the thing that I want you to think about, I want to share with you one of the best, most valuable lessons that I learned about creating funnels. And this is so important, so please pay attention to this. This was a lesson that I learned from Mark Ford, Michael Masterson. If any of you guys aren't familiar with Michael Masterson, you should immediately go to Amazon. His pen name is Michael Masterson. His real name is Mark Ford. He is the mastermind, if you will, behind Agora, which is a $500 million a year information marketing behemoth, a company that is the largest company in the world when it comes to publishing alternative health and financial newsletters. And he taught me this principle of first and foremost identifying the awareness level of your prospects. Right, and Mark talks about it. It really originates from Gene Schwartz. By the way, if you guys, whoever has not read the book Breakthrough Advertising, you have to go and read that book. You got to get it. You should read that book at least once a year. Hands down, bar none, best marketing book ever published. Well, there's this idea that there's a level of awareness that prospects have in any market about their problem, about solutions, about your product, about the various products out in the marketplace. There are 5 different levels, and they range from the most aware to least aware. Now, the easiest to sell is the most aware. It's the individual that knows either they've got a problem, they know exactly what they want, they know about the competition, they know about the other offers out there, they know about you, they know about your company, and they're ready to buy. And at that level, what it becomes about is what's the deal, what's the offer. Right? And then all the way at the bottom, let's go to the other end, you've got the least aware. Least aware are individuals that aren't even aware that they have a problem or need. Right? So let's say we're going to be talking about ClickFunnels in just a second. It's individuals that don't even realize they have a need for an application like ClickFunnels. They don't, they're not aware of, they're not even thinking about struggling to put up web pages. They're not even thinking about that. And because they're not even thinking about that, they're not thinking about solutions. Right? So they're not even thinking about any kind of solutions or options. They're not searching out there. They're not looking at lead pages or whatever, these other crazy applications. Right? They're completely unaware. Obviously, that is the most difficult segment to sell. Right? But here's the thing. Here's the thing that Mark taught me. He said it's the most difficult part of the market to sell, but it is where the big money is in every market. Right? Because the majority of marketers, the majority of companies, the majority of affiliates out there go after the higher levels of awareness. In other words, the typical ClickFunnels affiliate is going to go out there and is going to market ClickFunnels. It's going to talk about this application, ClickFunnels, and why it's great and why you want to use it. And in essence, what they're doing is they're only communicating with the individuals that are at the top level of awareness, right? There are other individuals that haven't thought yet about the need for a tool like ClickFunnels. And with the right content, with the right education, with the right funnel, they can be led to understand why ClickFunnels is exactly what they need, why they do have a problem that this solution can solve and solve better than anything else. And so where the money is and where the opportunity is in the lower levels of awareness, which I'm going to show you in just a bit. So this is an example. This is one of the legs of the promotion that we ran. Again, I needed to, number one, figure out a new way, a new path, a new piece of content that I can advertise on Facebook that would be totally compliant with Facebook. And I also wanted something that I could put out in front of the market that wasn't necessarily thinking about Russell's book, thinking about ClickFunnels. And so this is just an example of a simple native ad and a native page, right? Where we gave, this is, we called it the top 3 marketing books. This thing drove a tremendous amount of traffic, right? So we were able to start with people that are interested in phenomenal marketing books, right? And then we retargeted them, and we were able to lead them through a process. And you'll understand more about that in just a bit. But that was an example of one of the ads, and that's a screenshot of the page. Then what I did was I ran a Google Hangout. And we run both Google Hangouts and webinars. I believe that there is a different strategic purpose for a webinar and a Google Hangout. So just for example, when we work with partners on promotions, typically what we do, like if we have a partner that is, let's say we're going to promote a partner and we're doing a midweek webinar. Well, at the beginning of the week, we do a Google Hangout where the partner comes on with me. It's kind of like an intro, kind of like meet and greet, tease what's going to be on the webinar, free content for the list. Then we do the replay the next day of that hangout. Then we go into the webinar. Then we do replay of the webinar, and then we end with a Q&A hangout. And what it does is, number one, when you start with the hangout, it kind of gets the hey, I'm just meeting this person for the first time out of the way. In other words, when we get to the midweek webinar, which is where the sales happen, right? Prospects, the individuals showing up to the webinar, they've already met the guest. And so we use both Hangouts and webinars. In this instance, I did a Hangout from my home office where I shared the top 10 marketing books, my top 10 favorite marketing books, and the biggest transformational lesson that I got from each. And so for me, this was another opportunity to market to our house list. It was another opportunity to advertise on Facebook, totally compliant content, gave me the ability to deliver value, gave me the ability to bond, gave me the ability to teach, and gave me the ability to promote Russell's book, right? Because of course, Russell's book was one of the books that I talked about. And so we had the opportunity to leverage that. And then, of course, after that, we continued to run traffic for the replay. So while we were running the campaign, the native campaign for the top 3 books, we were also running the replay for this particular hangout. Then we had a page that we started to create dedicated pages for targets, for audiences. This was an example of a page that we used when we targeted Tony Robbins fans. So we were targeting Tony Robbins fans. This was one of the images that we used. I checked with Russell first before rolling with this, and we sent to a page that had the Tony Robbins quote, little things, not a major, right? Like nothing earth-shattering here, nothing brilliant here, but these little things that will jack up conversions. Rather than simply having one single page that you try to use with everybody, right? You target. What do these people want to see? How can we have more congruence from the ad to the landing page? How can we give the landing page more credibility, right, for that particular audience? And so that was an example of what we ran. And let me just say this so that you guys know, you guys should, if you don't do this now, you have to do this. Whether you run a massive campaign to get 100 ClickFunnels users, or you're doing these kind of campaigns for your own business, you've got to track everything. You have to track. You have to know for every dollar that you're putting in to your business, how much money are you making back? You have to track. So in this instance, right, I'll tell you, I'm not shy to share it. I buzzed Russell and I said, hey, Russell, would you put a tracking pixel on the thank you page for me? I don't know if any other affiliate asked that. I don't know if any partner was thinking at that level, but I was like, if we're going to do this big and we're going to be able to scale up our media buying, we need to track it. I need to know what's working and what's not working. So Russell, we had actually a conversion pixel from Facebook put on. Russell did that for us so that we can track, and our internal click tracking software we were using to track every single campaign that we were doing in the end, so we could see what it was costing us to generate a sale. And so you got to track everything. The next thing, this was another ad that we used. For the same page. Then what I did was, and this was the most enjoyable part for me of the entire sequence. So what we did was I asked Russell if he would do a hangout. Again, like I don't know if other partners, other affiliates, were interested in doing this. If they asked, look, I don't participate in very many launches or promotions at all. In fact, this is only the second one that we've ever done, and I don't know how many others we'll really be doing. And so I wanted to go the distance, and I knew that I could add value to the marketplace. And listen to me carefully here, okay? I knew that I could add value to the marketplace while promoting. Right? Like one of the philosophies that we bring into everything that we do at Marketing Funnel Automation is through the marketing, I want to deliver value, right? I want to deliver value. I want prospects to walk away from our marketing and say like, wow, I would have paid for that. Like that was so good. That's better than some paid programs. Right? I first learned that from legendary copywriter Gary Benzavenga. Gary Benzavenga was a guy, multi-million-dollar copywriter, a guy that wrote copy for some of the biggest direct response companies in the world that could not be beat. He couldn't be knocked off the control for years. His controls ran year after year after year. He could not be beat. One of the things that he talked about, one of the major keys to his success, was that he said every campaign was valuable. Every campaign delivered value. So for me, this was another opportunity to get Russell on. And look, this wasn't a fluff piece. Right? This wasn't like, let me get Russell on and let me simply interview him about why the book is great and how super duper it is and why everybody should buy it. No, it wasn't that at all. I asked Russell questions like that I knew nobody else had asked him. Like, tell me, what didn't you put in the book? Right? What didn't you include in the book? Tell me about, like, what would you do differently in the book now? Like, what information do you feel like you left out? Right? Tell me about your failures in marketing. Like, let's talk about the things, right, to deliver value. This hangout got us more positive feedback just because of the nature, the quality, the depth of the time that we spent together. And look, the thing that I also want you to understand, that I want you to think about, is that throughout this entire process, understand that we're still, as a company, outside this promotion, we're still reaping massive value. We're reaping massive value because I'm getting to educate and teach and share my passion, right, and give value, right? So on the book hangout, right, it was like a 3-hour hangout or something like that where I was teaching marketing. And in that context, I was promoting. In this, it was a great educational, valuable piece. So bonding with people, and we were retargeting everybody. So we walked away after the launch, not only having gotten Russell 3,500 buyers or whatever it was for the book, but we have massive retargeting lists. We pixeled a massive number of people. So I just want you to think about the value of all this. Of course, immediately after somebody registered, that little page off to the side was the thank you page. So, right, we weren't just waiting for them to attend the event. After they registered for the Hangout, they got an opportunity to grab the book. Underneath the Hangout page, when we were doing the Hangout Live, there was a button right there the whole time. And then, of course, like I said, we ran a replay. This was retargeting. So everybody that came, that was the ad that we used for retargeting. Everybody that visited the page and didn't register, we retargeted and sent them right back to the replay page where they didn't have to opt in at all. This is then an example of I stripped out a piece of the video of the hangout. So I did this 3-hour hangout for the books, right? The top 10 books. And so what I did here was I repurposed a segment of that hangout. I just took out the segment where I talked about Russell's book. And at this point now, Russell's book there was a lot of buzz. There were more and more people that were promoting on Facebook. And so I took out that segment and said, look inside the book. Let me show you my notes. Let me, take a peek inside the book. This was one of the ads that we ran, and that was the page that we used. Then what we did in the end was, and if there was one thing that I would do differently today with this promotion, to make up the 38 books or whatever it was that we fell short, we rolled out a killer bonus offer. So I got my buddy Rich Sheffrin to agree to a little kind of coaching program. I asked Russell if it was cool. I asked Russell if he would participate in one of the weeks. And so we put together a 4-week coaching program that we called the .com Secrets Implementation Program. And the idea was we're going to walk you through Russell's methodologies, the takeaways from the book, the things that I think and Rich think you really need to know. And what we're going to do is we're going to give it to you for free for those of you that take advantage of the book offer. And I reached out to Russell. Now, this was about 4 days. We had 4 days to go, or 4 or 5 days to go in the promotion. And so I said, wow, I reached out to Russell and I said, hey, what about the people that bought a book already? That is there a way that, we could allow them, how does that work? And he said, roll with it. We'll, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out after. But so we rolled out this 4-week coaching program, and then we ran extensive Facebook ads. So what you'll see here, that ad was like the last day. We had every day for 4 days, it was being updated, representing the time, counting down. So the ad was driven off of scarcity. The ad on the right was the retargeting ad. So the people that hit this page that didn't buy, didn't get the book, they were retargeted. This is really cool, actually. I'll share this with you. I just wanted to include one email. Obviously, we had a tremendous amount of email sequences going out, a ton of segments throughout the whole thing. We were sending a whole bunch of emails. This email, it's the top part of the email, got the biggest response of any email that we sent out throughout the entire promotion. And the thing that I want you to see is this went out to clients of marketing funnel automation. And excuse me, so that at the top of that email was an image. It was an actual image, but it's a picture of Rich Sheffrin, and I talking, and it pre-populated each client's name right in the image. So it was a personalized image. It wasn't, it was an image. So, I believe, and so it would say, is Henry on the list? I sure hope so, right? Is Jim on the list? And Jim's open in the email. And so it served as, to me, in my mind, a pattern interrupt, right? It was something that, the subject line, first of all, I knew was going to get the open, right? So not seeing Bob on the list, right? I knew it was going to get, and it got crazy opens. And then I felt like that image was going to be an immediate pattern interrupt to grab their attention and say, how the heck did he do this? And I'll tell you the way we did it. I think the plugin is called. It's like a plugin that we have. I think it's called Email Image Magic. I think that's it. Email Image Magic that allows you to do just that. So boom, put the image in, and it can put. It is platform agnostic. So we use Infusionsoft, but you don't have to use Infusion. It's a plugin for WordPress. So if you use Aweber or GetResponse, whatever, you can use it. Pretty crazy. And so now we started using it in all kinds of weird ways. We just did a promotion, just to give you, we just did a promotion for a new product that we launched, and we sent out an email to clients, giving clients a discount on the particular product. And right in the email, we had an image of a coupon. It was like a full-blown, cool image with their first and last name right in the image. Right, and so everybody that coupon was customized for right in the email. And then what I did on the last day is I finished up with a Q&A hangout. So last day Q&A hangout where I just took questions about marketing, questions about the book, questions about the coaching offer, and I'll tell you that that we do this now with, we end our launches, our live promotions on the last day with a hangout. So for when we launched the six-figure funnel formula last year, we did like an 8-hour hangout where we had guests, one every hour on the hour. For our recent launch, we did it. For this, we did it. Here's the thing that I want you to think about. And of course, that was the exit pop thing when they went to the exit intent thing. And so here's the thing that I want you to think about. Okay, and this is going to be one of these 4 points, but I'm going to tie this all together for you in terms of so how do you use all this craziness that I just shared with you to get 100 ClickFunnels users, right? Like where does that tie in together? And so the first thing that I want you to understand is that my approach with this is the way I approach the length of a funnel. People ask me all the time, clients ask me all the time, they'll say things like, when should I end the funnel? Like, all right, so should the funnel be 7 days? Should it be 10 days? Should it be 20 days? Like, when do I know it's time to end the funnel? And my response is always, when you don't have anything new of value to say, it's time to end the conversation. Right? It's time to end the funnel. When all you would be doing going forward is hammering the list, is simply just trying to hammer them over the head with the same offer, the same thing, trying to get them to take the same action, and you have nothing new to say of value, that's when it's time to end the funnel. But if you have something new to say, something new to add, you have another piece of content that you can give them, you have additional value that you can deliver, keep going. So the thing, right, that's why, you got guys like, let's say Ben Settle, great email copywriter, phenomenal email copywriter. This is a guy who's able to send out, 5 emails a week and has done that for years now, and he promotes the same freaking product in every email. But it's cool because he's adding value and he's got new content. He's got something additional to bring. Right? And so that's the way I looked at this. I was constantly thinking of new pieces of content that would interest the market, that would be of interest to the market, that I could leverage and then segue into the book offer. Right? Does that make sense? So, well, these were supposed to pop up one at a time, but so the first thing that I want you to do, and I want you to expand your thinking a little bit. I want you to expand your thinking for a second. The first thing that you want to do is you want to list 5 related but not prime market segments. What I mean by not prime is, when the typical ClickFunnels affiliate, what the typical ClickFunnels affiliate thinks about, or who the typical ClickFunnels affiliate thinks about when they think about, well, who am I going to promote this to, is they think about the prime segments. They think about the individual that is looking for a great tool, right? Like the perfect person for me to sell is the prospect that is on the hunt for a great tool. They're not happy with their other tool and they're ready to buy a new tool. That's what I call a prime segment. That is high on the awareness level. That's where you will find the most amount of competition. I knew in this example with this promotion, I knew that the amount of partners were going to be coming out of the woodwork, and they were all going to be up on those higher levels. So you want to look for market segments that are not necessarily people at the stage where they are looking for a tool. Maybe it's the individual that is simply not happy with the amount of leads that they generate. Right? They're not at the point yet where they're aware of the different solutions out there. They're just aware of their problem. Right? They're aware of their problem. They're not at the point yet where they're ready to think about solutions. And so you're able to go in and pick up where they're thinking about the problem, and you're able to lead them through educationally, you're able to lead them through and show them that there's a good shot that it's linked to the number of pages that you have, the type of pages that you have, your ability to be prolific with the pages, right? Get new front-end funnels out there. And so you want to look for these non-prime segments that you can tap into. Now, let me just say this really quick. I've got 3 minutes. The thing to understand with awareness level is this. The lower on the awareness level, the more education they need, right? The individual that is looking for a tool, is aware of ClickFunnels, is contemplating ClickFunnels, lead pages, optimized press, I'm not sure, that person requires less education than the person who isn't even aware of the need for a tool, right? And so the type of funnel that we put them through is different based on the amount of education that they need. Thing that I want you guys to take away, and I'll be around if you guys have some specific questions about this, but the thing that I want you to take away is that you look for those lower levels. You look for the opportunity to find these segments in the marketplace where we can create additional content, where you can create additional content, that you can bring that content to those different segments, that segment will find valuable and interesting, that we can then use to lead them into the ClickFunnels offer. A business that's not making enough sales, that's an example of a lower awareness level. They're not necessarily looking for a tool. They're not necessarily in the market for ClickFunnels or optimized press, but we could certainly put a piece of education out there in front of them about being prolific with their funnels and the right way to design their funnels. And hey, here's a great tool to do it. Right? That's a segment lower on the awareness level. And so you want to think of 5 additional content pieces. Don't simply think, I'm a ClickFunnels affiliate, and so I'm just going to go out there, I'm going to run an ad that says, hey, the best funnel creation software, go here and link them to the ClickFunnels site. That's not the way you'll do big numbers. And that's dealing with the high levels of awareness. Dealing with the high levels of awareness. I'm going to take the low levels and I'm going to put something out in front of them that they bite on, that they find interesting, that I can then use to segue into the offer. And then, strive to develop one or more superior over-the-top bonus offers. You know, I'm not a huge fan of doing bonuses when it comes to affiliate promotions, but the reality is it works. And the better, more superior your bonus offer is, the better your response is going to be. And kind of the criteria that you should use when you're developing these bonuses is what bonus would make this a no-brainer? What bonus would be so freaking valuable that this person would be out of their mind to pass up on this? What bonus is more valuable than the actual core offer itself? In this case, in ClickFunnels, right? And so a no-brainer, irresistible, over-the-top offer. Now I said over here one or more because you, depending on those lower market segments, you could come up with a different bonus offer. Like if you really want to do big numbers, you want Russell to pay for that car for you, right? You have a different bonus offer for the different segments. So you bring in, you have this piece of content that you dangle out in front of, how flower shop owners can grow their business with an automated online marketing system, right? And they come to a Google Hangout or a webinar and we educate them, leading them through the process to ClickFunnels. And then we drop a killer over-the-top bonus offer for flower shop owners that they get when they sign up for a membership at ClickFunnels. That's how you'll kill it. That's how you'll crush it. And then, of course, last is you got to be willing to pay for traffic. You've got to be willing to pay for traffic. I'll tell you that, and then I got a gift for you. Then I got to wrap this bad boy up. I'll tell you that the single best. One of the most transformational lessons that I learned, like there was a time when I was trying to get traffic, trying to grow my business organically. Don't even ask. I was so knee deep in this SEO thing. It's crazy with different servers, and it was insane. And it just was never clicking. It was never happening. I was never able to see this growth in traffic. And it wasn't until I had a conversation with Rich Sheffrin maybe about 10 years ago where he looked at me and he simply said to me, he said, until you can afford to pay for the acquisition of a customer, you don't have a business. Until you can afford to pay for the acquisition of a customer, you don't have a business, you simply have a promotion. And so I share that with you just because you've got to be willing to invest in traffic. You've got to be willing to invest in the acquisition of a customer. All else being equal, the marketer who is willing to invest the most will win the game, not the least. The marketer that goes out on Facebook and brags about the fact that, hey, I don't pay for marketing at all my marketing is organic and generated naturally, that marketer is an idiot. That's not, the biggest marketers are looking to invest the most amount of money possible every month. I want to grow our allocation towards traffic every single month. I want to invest the most amount that I possibly can. You guys have an awesome tool in ClickFunnels, and you have arguably one of the best books on marketing that have been published in years. Right? And so you guys have what it is that you need, the knowledge and the tools to create a funnel that will allow you to turn $1 of traffic into $1 of new customers and leads. Your job now is to scale your traffic, is to pump more and more and more and more money into that system. And so you've got to be willing to do that. And so last but not least, if you guys want a copy of the pages, the whole share thing inside of ClickFunnels, like all the pages that we used were done in ClickFunnels. So if you want the link to get all those pages that we used, and there was others that I just didn't have the time to share with you guys, go there and we'll send you the link and you'll be good to go. I'll leave you with this. I'll end with this, that, I often get, it's funny, I remember it's been about 13 years since I started in this business, give or take, and I remember what it was like starting off. I really do. That's not a marketing thing. That's not a sales thing. I remember what it was like starting off. I remember sitting in front of my computer and hitting refresh and waiting for sales to come in and wondering, like, is the order form broken? Is my email not refreshing? Like, what's the deal when nothing was coming in? I remember, right? And I remember looking at experts and gurus and authorities and being enamored, like, at their brilliance and their genius and what they know that I don't. And do I have it like what they have? Here's the thing that I want to leave with you. Number one, the top 2% in every market at one point was the bottom 2%. The top 2% at one point was the bottom 2%. The best of the best at one point were just starting out and knew nothing. There is no, I can't speak for Russell. I can only speak for myself and those marketers that I've had the chance to work with. There's no brilliance. There's no genius coming from here, right? You don't need genius. You don't need brilliance to make big money, to develop the business of your dreams, to achieve the things that you want. You just got to be willing to take action. The difference between you and me is just experience and time. Things that you can do, right? Everything that I know, you can learn. It's a learned skill. This idea that, you've got to have natural creativity, like born genius, that's just nonsense. I'm proof of that. And so remember that and recognize again that top 2% was at one point the bottom 2%. And there's no doubt in my mind that from this group, there's going to be somebody that's up here next year presenting their funnel, talking about their success. And so thank you guys.
Awesome. You guys stand up. Give Todd a huge round of applause.